city has a pretty healthy economic community, but it has very little retail. I know you're both longtime residents, so you'll probably remember that years ago there were 2 plans for lifestyle centers in Solon, much like Legacy Village, that never really went anywhere. Would you like to see shopping within the city limits? And how would the city handle that in your vision? Ms. Jacobs?
I would love to see that, and the residents would have said that from the surveys, and I believe they're looking at that again when they're looking at the 2015 master plan, is how to address the aging of the different shopping centers and how they could rework them. I believe last time, as you know, it was more of an economic issue and funding, and then some of the residents didn't want the encroachment into their neighborhoods as well. But at the end of the day, when people say they really want to be able to come in Solon and buy a pair of shoes or get a dress and not drive out of town, we should be able to support that long term, and we have a lot of space and opportunities to do so. And I think the economic development director for Solon is trying hard with regular meetings with brokers and et cetera, trying to get stimulus to get people to come into town to help fill spaces where we know that there's definitely a need for an upside, because they're aging and they don't look as nice as we would like them to be in Solon. And we need more than just our homes to look nice. We need our community to be a destination as well.
Mr. Okay.
Well, one of the things that I heard in walking around Solon was, how much people cared. They really wanted to see a vision of what the city of Solon will look like a few years down the road. And this aging infrastructure issue, I know the city has a plan to review all of their own buildings every 5 years. And they're looking at a number of economic development things, but I think it's something broader than that. This is one of the things that the residents really talked to me about was, what's Solon going to look like? How do we get people to want to come to Solon, to make it a destination city and not a drive-through city? We have those 2 shopping centers where Earth Fair used to be and where Sears and Kmart used to be. And a lot of people talked about, well, what can we do with those? The lifestyle kind of concept is one, but it requires, I think, this time, the city to have a vision of this is what we want it to look like. Hudson did that. They took that area west of 91 and turned it into kind of a retail parking area, which was really neat. We can do something similar. And I've talked to a bunch of people that do that kind of work. It's possible, but we have to have the vision in the city to talk about, we want it to look like this, we want it to be a destination. Remember, we talked about frontage being lost on 91 and Aurora Road, which is going to crimp the retail establishments that are there. We need to offer them alternatives. So this is a real opportunity for us in the city to provide leadership, to give a vision of what, would get people excited about their city.
Any thoughts?
Consistent, again, we're not far off on what we're approaching these things. We do believe that there's opportunities for improvement. We have to make sure, though, that people can, as I mentioned, I want them to be able to make a destination in Solon and Hudson and Chagrin. People go there and spend a night, have dinner, and comfortable walking around. You have impediments in Solon with the way the structure is that you can't just walk around comfortably and spend the night and go get an ice cream cone and walk around. So we do need to look at the long-term strategy and make sure we can do those things, but we also have to be cognizant of the fact that people up on Harvard are going to be building a very large structure up that direction, and how much retail can an area actually support. So for us, we have a lot of opportunities to fill the space, but we have to be able to maintain those doors so that they stay open. And again, I think there's a lot more opportunities for restaurants as well. People come when there's a lot of restaurants. It doesn't have to be just shopping. So I think we have a lot of opportunities to get more of a flavor and a feel to our community so people want to stay at home on a Friday night.